team ban.
And here we go. Game one over pretty quickly, over in about 30 minutes. All orange all the time, more or less. DK just unable to stop the onslaught. Orange Esports leads 1-0 in this best of three. We're in the round of 8 of Monthly Madness Asia. I'm AC, joined by Draskell for the broadcast. And yeah, I mean, we've seen what DK has the potential to do. We saw that in the round of 16. Orange, though, pretty much in all phases of the game, from the pick ban to the early game to the mid game, and we never really saw a late game. Orange was just so tight. They made very few mistakes, and they allowed their lineup to just walk all over DK.
From the get-go, it really felt like Orange just knew exactly what their game plan was going to be, and they just executed it to a T, and DK didn't have really anything to react to it whatsoever. So hopefully DK can kind of get back on their feet for Game 2, not get too demoralized over that kind of a loss. I mean, I do feel like the draft had a lot to do with it. There was a couple of people talking about ping, and just to address this really quickly, it's less than 100 difference. So
yeah.
Anything, a loss like that is not because of ping. I'll just say that right now, and I hope that DK does end up having a a better showing, I should say, for the second game. And they're going to go ahead and take out Nagasire and Lishrak, already taken out by Orange. So the one thing that I think that DK has to be really careful about is not to pick a lineup where basically if you get caught, you're going to die. And that's kind of what I felt like DK had last game. They had a lot of great heroes, but they couldn't ever pick their fights because once somebody got caught, they had to commit to a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at the way Orange's lineup last game worked, again, we said this just as the broadcast drew to a close in that game. You could take any two heroes on the side of Orange, and if they were together and they caught just about any other two on the side of DK, it was always going to be the advantage to Orange just because of the follow-up stuns, the way the heroes worked together, all of the damage output, especially once Lanaya left mid and started to roam around the map. She got the Blink Dagger, the Phase Boots to give her the mobility she needed, and she just got so far ahead. I mean, you're talking 18 kills on that Lanaya by the time all was said and done, but that game is done. Let's focus on
Darkseer.
Yeah.
Darkseer.
Yeah.
Darkseer. Come on! Sorry, I'm excited whenever I get a chance to see that hero.
We'll see if he's picked up. I can only imagine he will be. And it's a little odd to see an Invoker prioritized over top of a Darkseer. All of the other bans you can understand, especially DK taking...
Well, Orange has first pick. Why would they ban Darkseer?
Oh, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Pretty solid point, as always. But, yeah, they're talking it over. I'll be surprised if they don't pick him up. But yeah, I mean, and this is just kind of what's happening, too. Yep, there he is. With all of the heroes that are going in such rapid fashion now over the last month, and it's certainly going to continue for at least another month, it's just all the heroes that are usually, it's like, oh, we got to ban him, we got to ban him. There just aren't enough ban slots in the first 6 anymore. There's always going to be 1 or 2 very strong heroes that sneak through every single time. Shadow Demon among them, we're seeing him really, really come into his own so far as a hero that's being played consistently. If he's given away, if he makes it through the first ban phase, it seems like he's always picked up now. Darkseer, of course, as you point out, good reason to get excited. Pretty damn good hero.
Throughout the entire game, that hero is ridiculously strong. Yeah. Obviously, Shadow Demon's a great countermeasure. Darkseer is a tanky hero in his own right. He builds like Vanguard, Pipe, things like that. We typically see those style of builds coming out from players who choose to use them. And Shadow Demon just puts out the Soul Catcher and just negates all that extra health and armor. I mean, it's really a hero that you don't even necessarily need a high damage carry to run with, because you're gaining so much extra from just the Shadow Demon itself. And Rubik's actually going to be the second big item from DK. So both of those heroes in my mind are just straight up, we're taking care of the Darkseer right now. This is why we're picking these heroes. We're going to have Nullfield. We can have Rubik who can steal the wall. He's not going to have Vacuum, though, so it still is a lot less potent than the Darkseer wall itself because you're not going to have to pull everybody into the wall factor. But at the same time, you can still, I guess, telekinesis somebody into it, so that's something to think about. But kind of just theory crafting at the moment. I think that DK has done a pretty good job, though, of kind of handling that Darkseer with these 2 picks.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 very solid picks coming out of DK. And Rubik, a fun hero to always to cast. Every time we see Rubik played, it seems like we have a lot of sit back and smile moments. But, yeah, I mean, Orange is good. Darkseer is a very strong hero in and of himself, but he does need a team around him. Usually when we see a Darkseer make it through, if he does lose once he's in the game, it's usually because the other side just takes advantage of that first pick being, so obvious in a lot of cases. And that might be what happened here. I mean, DK opting to give out Darkseer as opposed to Lycan last. They had to know Darkseer was certainly going to be on top of the list. And just have in mind, it's like, okay, we're just going to let Rubik and Shadow Demon hopefully be enough to shut him down. Queen of Pain picked up second from Orange.
Right now, I think that the lineup coming out from Orange is basically just going to be more or less a burst with a vacuum combination coming out, but they're going to go ahead and take up a Chen here just to be a little bit safer.
Yeah.
That allows them to push earlier on in the game. You can have Darkseer cut creeps, push a lane with Chen, stuff like that. But I feel like right now, that's a really solid pick, especially considering DK went for a Rubik and a Shadow Demon. Those heroes are not anti-pushers at all. I mean, Fade Bolt is pretty good,
Yeah.
but he's going to have to wait until 6 to where he can steal something like the Scream of Pain or maybe even the Ion Shell or something like that to kind of get rid of creep waves. Early stages, though, neither of those heroes really bring a whole lot to counter pushing, so I think that DK needs to try to pick up something here. Maybe even a Sand King in the first 3. I know they definitely favor that, and we'll see what they're going to do, but I don't know if they're going to go for more of a carry-oriented strat with that Shadow Demon or just rely on having a lot of burst damage because of the Soul Catcher anyway, and they're going to go with AM. So people in the chat coming through, everyone was saying AM, like AM, AM, AM. I'm like, yeah, maybe he's going to pick AM, so yep. Shout out to you guys for being right there. And it's definitely a great pick. 3 heroes who can't do anything really per se to lock them down, barring the Queen of Pain getting a Hex or an Orchid or something like that. But I think that's actually a really solid pick here.
Yeah, that's the one thing that kind of came to mind as soon as I saw the Anti-Mage, and it's a very creative way to play Queen of Pain. You just build Orchid on her first, which of course works well so far as what she's going to want to do in the middle and late stages of the game, but at that point she becomes almost a counter to Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage's ability to just get out of trouble is shut down almost completely. Queen can just blink right on top of him, use the Orchid, and if she has someone there with him, there's no way Anti-Mage gets away. So it's going to be on Orange to execute that, though, obviously. Don't want to see Burning get free farm with Anti-Mage. We've had experience with that, and yeah, it's you're not going to have a good time. You let that take place. Looking at Orange's lineup as well, they're still pretty open, but really, like, on paper, I guess, what I would call chalk. The chalk way to lane what they're looking at right now is to have Darkseer long lane, Queen of Pain mid, and then to take a support and a carry and stick them with Chen. And something that might be they may have in mind if they decide to go with that heavy push strat that at least their first 3 picks would allow them to do. They may want to end up taking a Shadow Shaman as a support for a more carry-oriented hero for a number of reasons. One, the ward's of course going to be great, defensively and offensively going to add to the push, but that's another hex and another shackle they can use to shut down Anti-Mage when it comes to those mid-game fights. So just something they may want to keep in mind. Furion does end up getting banned out, and you and I had talked about this during our last broadcast, how Furion was slowly but surely moving his way out of first 6 ban worthy. Of being first 6 ban worthy, I should say. He is going to be banned this time, but nobody picked him up. So he did make it through the ban phase, and no one decided to pick him.
People are going for really strong lanes nowadays. They just don't want to give anything away. And yeah, Furion does help. He can make like a 3v3, a 4v3, and etc. You can teleport him there to try to get yourself an early game advantage. But again, teams are just so used to playing against him. He's been in the scene for, God, I don't even know how long, pretty much since the beginning of time because he was in Dota 2 so early. So at this stage, it's not like teams aren't used to playing against him. They can just pretty much avoid the situations, especially if you're as good at teams as Orange and DK both are. And I feel like we'll still see him pretty commonly, I would say, and a nice call out there on the Windrunner as well. I feel like this particular pick, though, they're going to have some form of physical damage to help carry out killing that Anti-Mage in the later phases of the game. Burning is a great carry player. If he gets any semblance of a good start, they're going to need every single thing they have on their team to take him down, and I really feel like this Queen of Pain could potentially be building something like a Necronomicon or maybe even a Rec-like build like we see Complexity do with their Queen of Pains. I feel like it's probably a better way to go about this particular situation, but their last pick will kind of solidify what they're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Anti-Mage could be paired up in a duo mid. We've seen the potency of that. Lich is still in the pool, was not banned out by Orange. Obviously, they didn't watch that game. But I think I would like that as well. I mean, there are other lanes that they could pick up a long lane. I mean, it would be tough for them. I mean, with the Rubik Shadow Demon pick, they're still, again, pretty wide open. And they could even run one of those 2 heroes, stick Shadow Demon mid, and here comes Lich. So I like that, but they're going to really need a strong 5th pick here to round out their lineup.
Well, picking the Lich is another passive hero, and after Orange sees this, I mean, they still have a Chen. Whatever lane that the Lich is going to be in, it's probably going to be with the AM for sure, I would imagine. I mean, they could be dual laning mid at this phase up against that Queen of Pain, who's probably going to be going mid from Orange. So he will get some kind of farm, but this is something really important to keep in mind. Queen of Pain is much like Invoker in that if you don't dual lane against it, obviously the Queen of Pain is pretty much going to win against most heroes.
Yeah.
But when you think about that, like a Lich and an AM can blink into her and burn her mana. This isn't the same kind of matchup that you would typically see in a 2v1 where the hero who's so strong against the other range harass can just keep the Lich back. They have kill potential. because of the fact that you're not going to have any mana left after they trade with you a few times. So this Queen of Pain's going to have to play a very, very careful game, and I really like the fact that they took up the VS here as well, because that's minus armor, a single stun lockdown for the AM that they desperately needed. Not only that, but they're going to have swap to help get their teammates out of bad situations. I think that Orange has compensated very well for the Anti-Mage pick coming out. We could see a semi-carry Windrunner, or we could also see a semi-carry build for a Queen of Pain. I think both are options at this point for Orange.
Yeah, Orange is pretty open. With the Venge pickup, they're definitely, again, for the second game in a row, going to be looking to get out and get something done early. Venge just excels so well early on, and it'll depend on how they want to lane it and all that fun stuff, but the Anti-Mage Lich pick has got to be scary for anyone who's going to be going mid. I suspect it'll be another duo mid, Lich and Anti-Mage, just because it's so hard to deal with that, and as we've seen before, burning, you really stated it very eloquently, there's so much kill potential with those two heroes. And if we can get a couple of kills, if Burning can get a couple of kills out on Anti-Mage early, things can get out of control really, really quickly. So Orange, at least in whatever lane they wind up in, is going to have to play very, very cautiously. On the other side of the coin, though, when you've got the Venge and you've got the Darkseer, of course, he's going to help out in the big team fights, but mostly the Queen of Pain and the Venge, and Chen coming out of the jungle where he will certainly be. They've got potential to get out and grab a kill here and there, too, just so long as their movement is solid. Tinker, the final pickup from DK.
Could be seeing a safe lane Tinker. Looking at their heroes right now, we could see also an aggressive tri-lane, because they don't have a single hero to send down there unless they're going to put the Lich down there solo and then have 3 heroes with the Anti-Mage top. I mean, those are both possibilities at this point. Could see a support Rubik with the Shadow Demon and the AM top with the solo Lich bottom, or the Tinker mid. I mean, that's a really strange pick, actually. I wasn't expecting a Tinker here, but it is going to be played by Super, so I have a feeling it's going to be going middle lane. And looking at who's picking up all the support plays, yeah, we could just potentially be seeing a tri-lane, and then, oh, they're pulling their AM regen too, so that's going to help him out. He starts with a free Poor Man Shield with Tangos and a health potion. Holy crap, that is a lot of pulling right there. Yep. So he's going to have a ton of regen, and he's going to be going bottom lane, so they're going to be having a safe lane Tinker, I guess, instead of a mid Tinker, which is definitely the right call, I think.
Well, we'll run through the lineup, so we have a moment. On the side of Orange, we're going to have X playing on our Chen. Mushi going to be handling our Queen of Pain. Windrunner going to be played by Yamate. Ice played by Venge, and Darkseer played by Winter. On the side of DK, who trails his best of 3 series 0-1, Long DD going to be handling Shadow Demon. Lich going to be played by Zippo. Anti-Mage, as expected, played by Burning. Super, as mentioned, playing Tinker, I should say. And ROTK playing our Rubik. And the laning phase is going to be really important, as always. I mean, when you have an Anti-Mage on the map, and especially once the laning phase determines in a lot of ways how Anti-Mage builds as well. If he gets very far ahead, he just goes Battle Fury farms like crazy. If he has a midland start or a bad start, a lot of times you'll see that Vanguard come out, just because that's going to be the cue to the opposite team. Okay, Anti-Mage didn't tear it up early on. Let's just go ahead and start pushing towers and force them to deal with that, as opposed to prioritizing his farm by allowing him to split push as they forward push another lane. And yeah, I mean, this is what I call a breakout game for DK. If DK can bring this series back tied, it's a pretty big deal, just because Orange is heavily favored. They did win game number 1. And if DK drops this game, though, I mean, there's been a lot of questions about that squad. I mean, let's just be honest. They are being called overrated in a lot of ways. They're slumping in Dota 1 and in Dota 2, and this is a good chance for them to get back on the horse.
I hope that they do, but it looks like Orange is running a quad lane top. They have just completely abandoned mid. This means that Burning is going to get the free farm that he desperately wants, but in all honesty, what can they do against what Orange is doing right now? I mean, they're creep cutting. Winter can just Ion Shell tank the creep, but if he started with a Stout, these towers are going to die really, really fast. The one thing they need to be careful of, and see, even DK is pulling, they know there's like, okay, well, we're not going to give you the extra creep kills. We're just going to let the tower drop here. Right. And they're going to try to make sure that they can deny the entire wave. That way they don't get the bonus gold, because even if they let the creeps go, how are they going to stop this?
Yeah,
there's just nothing that they can do.
Down on bottom, it's going to be Mushi matching up against ROTK and Zippo. Rubik with an illusion blocking the camp there. One of the fastest tower kills in Dota 2 history, at least in my casting career. It's going to drop at 115. Let's see how hard Orange wants to press this. Are they going to move on to Tier 2, or are they going to back out? Still got 3 hanging here. Windrunner has pulled back to the side shop. She is going to buy a TP, and will be heading to mid to try and deal with Burning. So Burning gets A decent start, 7 kills, or 7 last hits, I should say, on the board at 1 minute 35 seconds. But doesn't match up that well with an early tower kill. And this aggression is just going to continue from Orange.
Yeah, they even got an Alpha Wolf, which gives you that extra 30% damage aura, so they're looking to consistently push. The one thing, though, is now that there are 4 heroes no longer here at this top lane from Orange, the March of the Machines is going to be coming off. It can be spammed pretty much every creep up. It has a very similar cooldown to Sacrifice, and we're going to be seeing a little bit of harassment done on Tamushi bottom. He actually almost died right there. Got to about 50 HP before he got his salve back up. And I think that Orange has made a little bit of a leeway into this game, but they can't get complacent, man.
No.
Burning is going to keep farming. I mean, he's taking quite a bit of harassment damage in middle lane, but he's still got a ton of regen that the rest of his team has pulled to him. And these lanes worked out a little bit different than I thought they would. I thought the Lich was just going to be mid the whole time, but I guess why be mid if there was no hero? And now he's made a transition bottom.
Yeah, Yamata, it's worse, or Yamate, as I've been informed it's pronounced. Yamate is, I mean, hanging in there. 9 last hits to the 14 of Animage, but given Animage was alone for the first 2 minutes, Ice now there with an Invis rune looking to get a kill, and Burning's going to have to be real careful. I think wisely waiting for Lich to show up before he moved out at all. Ice still just keeping an eye on him. We'll see if there's any engagement at all. Chin is close by. He's up on the high ground. Burning's going to go ahead and move up in that direction, and is going to blink onto him. Feeling like he's going to be able to do the damage on the backside. Lich is going to be picked off. First blood's in the books. Burning giving chase to X, however. Got a disruption here. Yamate and Ice now giving chase to long DD. Let's see, can Burning get Shen? No, he can't. He's forced to pull back. Now he's in no man's land. Moving his way through the river, trying to get back to the safe side. Venge is going to be there to meet him. Not going to be able to do much, though. Good blink. Gets him back to safety. 1-0. 3.5 minutes in. First blood goes to Orange. First tower to Orange as well.
That's definitely going to be to their favor, clearly. I mean, they've already gotten, yeah, like you said, the first blood in the towers, so they're having the start that they're looking for. They want to get as far ahead as they can from this Animage to ensure that he doesn't get to a point where he's just too much to deal with.
Yep.
And in all honesty, I mean, even Queen of Pain's not suffering that much. He's sitting at 9-4. ROTK is only at 13-10, which obviously is better, but that's largely due to the fact that the Lich made his way to that bottom lane after they noticed there was a quad lane top, and now we can see Chen's helping out mid tremendously by just being very annoying with that tornado. Most OP creep in the game, in my opinion. I mean, you can see Zippo, look at the damage he's taking right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he just lost like 200 health for nothing, and he's even going to get power shot on top of that. So this lane is going to be very, very hard for DK to deal with, especially with that Shadow Demon sitting off on the side. They could potentially dive, although Shadow Demon's only level 1, doesn't have Soul Catcher yet.
Well, something in this is really like night and day compared to the last time we saw Burning play Animage. Last time he played him in that game that's hang on, Yamate forced to burn the wind run, no pursuit. But the last time we saw that, he was just left alone. He was just left in mid to free farm against an Invoker with a Lich with him, and there was nothing Invoker could do. Invoker died 2-3 times, and from that point, Burning never looked back. This time, we see Orange taking a different approach, prioritizing getting ahead of Burning, not letting him farm, making sure the pressure stays on, not just through harassment, but through consistent lane movement to make sure that he never, ever feels safe. And it shows in the last hits. I mean, he's doing okay. He's not completely out of it. He's at 22 last hits, but so is Darkseer. 20 last hits for Windrunner up against him with Lich moving in and out of the lane constantly. That's not the kind of lead that he wants at 5 minutes.
Well, I don't think he's going to get any further ahead either. I mean, that's the problem, is when you're in a free lane, if you miss CS, you're just throwing away farm. And he did miss a handful, which, I mean, high-level teams, that just shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
By 5 minutes in, if you hit every CS, he should have roughly 40. So he is actually quite a bit behind in terms of what he should have. I mean, Windrunner came back pretty fast. They got that tower at like 2.5, 3 minutes. So it wasn't like he was totally free farming. We're going to see action then.
Yep, Ice caught out, gets disrupted. Soul Catcher is up, and there's going to be a kill going to Burning, so that goes a long way to make up for the missed farm. And just good play there out of Shadow Demon. But in fairness, Shadow Demon's also basically set up camp there. He's been standing in that same basic spot for what seems like forever. Even dropping down the counter ward to make sure he couldn't have been spotted. Wanting to make sure Burning got that kill, or at least his team got that kill. But yeah, Yamate just continued just to peck at him. Just Burning being nibbled to death by ducks, more or less. And as much regen as he had, he's already burned through a lot of it.
Well, I think these lanes are working out very favorably for Orange.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really much argument you can make in terms of DK's laning phase. They did manage to get a kill on the VS, which is good. The experience is actually quite even at this point, but the gold is pretty much just stopped at about 2,000 right now in favor of Orange. I think they want to keep getting towers, though. Again, getting one tower that early is great, but don't get complacent. Like, you have to consistently make sure that you're sitting on top of Burning and saying, you know, we're not going to let you just free farm. The Rubik's doing a pretty decent job bottom lane. He's sitting at 26 and 14, where Queen of Pain is 22 and 13. So she's actually recovering from the start that she's had. So right now, Orange is looking like they're in a pretty good spot. DK is not out of this by any stretch of the imagination with an anti-mage. It's just that there's 4 heroes now middle from Orange, and they're looking to push another tower.
Yep, make it 5 with the OP creep, as you put it, using the old tornado to force DK back. But, yeah, this is just really well played by Orange. That's about the only way to put it. Super is going to rotate to mid now, getting a lot of activity in this middle lane. We may have a very early engagement between these two squads. Anti-Mage doing what he can. Burning with the Ring of Health up already, as you pointed out. Started with the Poor Man's Shield, and they pulled regen, but it's just been really well played by Yamate, and the decision to take that Tier 1 tower just from the word go, paying off as well. They've had that gold lead forever, it seems like. It's actually pretty close to 3,000 gold, and it's been pretty level for the last few moments at the very least. But Queen of Pain is doing pretty well on bottom as well, so Mushi getting the farm he needs.
If he makes his way back into the game this early, then the lane bottom, when they had the Lich transition down there, didn't really do its job. Yeah. And another problem they're going to be running into for DK as well is the fact that the Queen of Pain can pretty much do whatever she wants in this situation as long as she's carrying a TP and can help out her team, because her mobility is going to make it so she can pretty much farm and not really feel too stressed out if she can make it to a team fight. You know, she's one of the heroes who doesn't suffer from that problem, as we're actually going to see an invis picked up by Long DD, so they might try to kill off Windrunner mid at some point, but I mean, Mushi is going to have pretty much a ball down here for the next couple of minutes, and Rubik's going to do okay against her, but for the most part, they're not going to be able to make any kills happen. We could actually see a kill here on ROTK if he's not careful.
Let's see. Orange moving along. They're going to be spotted. And yeah, ROTK picks up Ice. Oh, wow. Manages to get 1 kill, doing good damage. There's the big ulti. Not enough to drop him, though. And X does get the kill. But, yeah, Rubik made him pay at the very least. That was a lot of damage that came out all at once. DK now moving their way over in that direction. Anti-Mage has set up shop at top, but Darkseer just doing a great job. Wow, it's not even hard. Just casting ion shells, basically, all he has to do to hurt Burning. Yeah, and look at Burning. Forced to blink away. Just has a hard time standing up and even taking farm that is relatively easy to get against Winter. We are going to see Chin picked off near the Dire Side Secret Shop. And now Yamate pounding on Super. Super's probably going to drop here. He does manage to land the laser. That does... Oh, wow, Yamate barely survives. 4 hit points. Manages to make it back, and Ice, the kind support that he is, drops the salve on Windrunner. So very... That's one of those situations where both players just happy to be breathing.
I'm really surprised they didn't get that. It was a really nice reaction, too, by Super, making sure that he lasered so he didn't take any more right-click damage. And bottom lane, that execution was pretty much just a blunder coming out of Orange. Like, if you're going to dive a tower like that, wait for the creep wave, or at the very least, wait for the Rubik to fall back a bit, because they saw the gank so much earlier than they should have, so he had plenty of time to make sure that he got the telekinesis and the Fade Bolt off, which resulted in a kill that honestly should have never happened. And just in general, I think that... that kind of execution, DK is going to take advantage of it, man. It's not like they're getting any farther ahead right now.
That Long DD gets caught by a shackle shot. No real follow-up, though. Taking a look at the gold per minute, we can see Darkseer actually leads the board right now. Anti-Mage not too terribly far behind, sitting at 305. 46 last hits at 10 minutes, so Burning at the very least on his way to that benchmark of 100 at 20 minutes. We'll see if he can pick it up and put a few more on the board. 3-2, the current kill score. DK actually leads in that regard, so... And that's a little surprising to me. I mean, DK has plenty of potential to snag kills, but it seems like Orange should be the ones that are on the aggressive. Oh, wow, and it looks like they may add another. Winner tries to get away. He's going to be disrupted. The Soul Catcher was already out. And Surge, oh, wow, even throwing out the ult. There's a vacuum that buys him a little bit of time. Burning now joins the party, giving chase, and they Mana Void enough to lock that down, make it 2-4. So we'll give a little time for the gold graph to update, but I imagine DK's probably making some considerable headway.
The thing about a 2,000 gold lead that's been staying the same all Super. Oh, buddy.
Dies in the shadow of his own tower. Vince just kind of shows up, and yeah, that's just one of those kills where you just go, yeah, they're going to send those heroes and dive a tower. I'm probably just going to die every time. But Burning is continuing to farm. So, I mean, it is a liability. Bottom tower has fallen as Orange manages to bring it down. Taking a look at the gold graph now. And, it's still favoring Orange pretty heavily. I actually thought DK had been doing well enough and Animage had been getting enough farm to even things out a bit. Not really the case.
Well, the thing about Orange right now is that they've had Mugi farming the whole time, and Long DD is going to run uphill to a very unfortunate situation for the heroes from Orange. Just pick him off pretty much instantaneously. And I think that picking off that 1-tier tower top might eventually be a backfire for them because it gives Burning a lane to pretty much just free farm, but he isn't doing a great job of lane controlling at the moment, so it is going to eventually push out. And Darkseer can be quite annoying for a melee hero, even as an AM who has that spell shield. So I think that Orange is still going to be wanting to play the aggressors here. They've made their way back in terms of kills. They haven't been behind at any phase in the game in experience or gold. But I really do think that a late game AM is going to be problematic for them, especially partnered with a Shadow Demon, because Winter's building tanky, but again, Soul Catcher makes it so no matter what kind of tank gear you have, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
Like, the heroes are going to drop if he lands the decent Soul Catcher off.
Chen very close to a Mex now. And that's a big item to have up early in the game, especially when you have an Anti-Mage just trying to farm. It just gives your entire team the ability to start really pushing down the throat of the other team. And we're actually going to have a gangbang here from Chen's Creeps holding off the majority of DK as mid-tier 1 tower does drop. Now Yamate with a little power shot spam, more than enough to send them back. But yeah, I mean, it's just the creeps from Chen there, more or less enough to hold off that reaction. Back to Burning, 65 last hits at 13 minutes. As you point out, it's not horrible. He's even got 2 kills to go along with it, but he's been free farming for a while. He needs more last hits than that, needs more gold than that. He's actually fallen behind Darkseer at this point and has stayed there for a while.
Well, for some reason, he's deciding that's an okay idea to trade with Winter right here, who already has a Vanguard. And when you don't have a Vanguard and you're trading with a hero who has one, not to mention the Ion Shell does a pretty significant amount of DPS, even to a hero with Spell Shield, he's not really going to win that. And the Darkseer has his Soul Ring up as well, so he's always going to have mana, basically. At the very least, if he's burning mana like that, they want to make sure that they can try to gank him with another Mana Void Soul Catcher combo. That does a crap load of damage at this phase in the game. But Winter's actually sending himself something. What did he just get? Okay, so he got his Mana Boots. And I think that Orange might be looking to push a tier 2 here, but Shadow Demon's made his way over. I think that at this particular point in the game, Orange is still feeling pretty confident. They're getting farther ahead in gold because they've gotten towers. And again, DK unable to get even a single tower. And this is something that seems to be a trend for them, at least that I've been seeing in these last 2 games, is they pick lanes that don't push.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just going for an older style of just flat-out lane control. They want to try to extend the game, and against teams who play aggressively, I don't know if it's going to work.
Venge going to be caught out. Oh, there goes the Lich ulti. It's going to catch at least one, but there's the Chen Hill to keep everybody up and running. Bounces to the creeps. Burning, looking for a kill. Not going to find it. Burns the Mana Void. Not a lot of mana missing for Ice, so he stays fighting. Darkseer wall did go down on the top side. Burning trying to make a retreat. And yeah, just a really spread out engagement here. Windrunner, the little power shot spam. After all the fireworks, neither team loses anyone. And I'm a little surprised to see Queen of Pain made her way up here. She was left completely alone in bottom lane. Probably could have split push. Instead opted to go ahead and force a big team fight. And now venturing way close to the dire side base. Darkseer going to go ahead and push top tier 2. Relatively unopposed. Burning just going to abandon any idea of defending top and just going to go back to farming. And I think this is the right call. If they're going to, I mean, they've already lost lane control. I mean, there's just no other way around it. They have lost map control, lane control, and the pace of the game for the foreseeable future is going to be dictated by Orange. The only way they can change that is for Burning to become a force of nature very, very quickly.
I feel like that kind of style, though, has fallen off because you're putting all your eggs in one basket here, and if Burning doesn't have the game, you know, like 800 gold per minute, 800 experience per minute.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be hard-pressed to carry a game like this. You have heroes like Queen of Pain, who is going for a straight Orchid, by the way.
Yep.
So they are doing some pretty good counter-measuring to that Anti-Mage in itself, and it's just the rest of his team is not going to be too helpful. They're going to have Soul Catcher, the Shadow Demon not maxing out the Soul Catcher this game like we saw last game.
Good vacuum catches, too. Oh, wow, look at the damage done to Venge, though. She does land a stun, but dies on the exit. A little bit of an overextension there from Orange. Venge does drop. And Queen of Pain, as you pointed out, going for that Orchid, we suspected she might. That's a big deal. Being able to having a reliable way to shut down Anti-Mage's blink and to punish him for trying to free farm changes the way Burning has to approach getting from A to B, getting from 16 minutes to 30 minutes, getting from an empty inventory to a full one. Another badly spent Mana Void. That's 2 in a row that have just done next to nothing. Winter stays alive.
Well, the fact that he's going for an Orchid just means that he wants something in the game earlier to deal with him.
Yep.
Because Sheep costs quite a bit more, actually, so not going for that. He's going to be a little bit fragile. He's not going to have too much HP. He's only got 900 right now, but I think once he does get it up, which I think he's roughly about 300 gold away, so he'll have it sometime soon. And then they can pretty much go on the AM whenever they want. He didn't go for a Vanguard.
Yep.
So it's not like he's going to be tremendously tanky himself. He's actually at 800 HP sitting on some agi trits. He'll obviously change those if he gets into an altercation with anybody. But for the most part, I really feel like DK is heavily relying on a hero that is getting hard countered already by the items and the hero choices out of Orange. And that's a situation that you don't really want. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to end up making them lose the game, but I'm just wondering if this AM alone is going to be enough.
Yeah, if you're going to have an AM game go your way, you're usually going to have to maintain lane control, which was lost immediately. Lane control was completely gone within 5 minutes of the start of this game. You have to have your AM be safe. He has not died, so you can say he's been safe, but he's also been bouncing all over the map. He's kind of been shoved around by the push potential and just the pure teamfight power of Orange's squad at this point. We're going to see Queen of Pain get a kill. Manages to pick off Shadow Demon up in the dire side jungle. But yeah, just the pure damage output and the team fight potential that we see out of Orange, and Chin's there to keep everyone alive and kicking as well. And Mech's been up, he's got the arc boots up. It's a lot like game one. It's what can DK do except turtle up and hope that one hero or one or two heroes at most can really carry them to a win.
The one thing that really puzzles me is why the Shadow Demon went for the build of Shadow Poison over getting a Soul Catcher.
Yep.
That just pretty much assures that they're not going to have too much aggression coming out, because here's the thing about Shadow Poison. It does a lot of damage, but you have to consistently land them over and over again over a long team fight, and that's just not going to happen as R2K is going to get blasted here.
Got hit by every stun in history, I do believe, basically.
Yeah, it's like you know what? Just everything right
Yeah.
now on the Rubik.
It's one of those things, just for fun, you just blow an ult in somebody's face completely unnecessary. Didn't happen there, but may as well have. Like I said, that was every stun in the lineup there. Well, Burning's gonna get caught out, just blinked in the wrong place. Doesn't matter though. I mean, he's taking a little harassment, but he's gonna make it back to safety quite easily. But yeah, I mean, this is just again kind of a replay with the different heroes of game one. Orange just came out with a game plan. They've executed nigh perfectly. Very few mistakes have been made. DK faring better, at least in terms of kills and team fights so far. But we can already see that starting to slip away a little bit. There's another kill, and there's going to be the Lich ult that goes off. And, yeah, just doesn't do much. Doesn't do much of anything. Lich ult split. And Orange is just going to take another tower. Just, we're going to have a pause, but as soon as this pause is done, Orange is just going to take another tower.
Yeah, this tower is not going to be here for very much longer. It's got about, well, less than half HP.
Yep.
They're going to unpause, so that's nice. Long pauses are definitely something that I don't really like as a caster. I mean, filling time is one of our jobs, but sometimes it gets a little ridiculous, but not going to be seen here. Looks like VS manages to pick up a kill on the anti-mage. That's something you don't see every day.
Yep. Ice able to get the kill on the backside as Orange pounds on this tower. And, yeah, 9-5. Gold graph, I can only imagine, has got to be pretty close to 10,000 differential at this point, actually. Pretty close. Yeah, I guess 12,000 is pretty close. The 10,000 gold differential. And not quite as ugly on the experience side, but certainly not anything to be proud of. Now Roche is going to drop as well. And, yeah, I mean, this is, again, the game one was a lot like this. DK hung in. They traded blow for a while, but then there was a definitive moment where you just felt the game turn against them. And that may be approaching if it hasn't already passed. 9-5 favoring Orange. And the tower, I mean, there is no towers left. There are no outer tier. There are 6 towers down on the side of DK and not a single tower down on the side of Orange. In fact, yeah, 2 full HP towers more or less and 1 half HP tower, give or take. It's out of hand.
A little bit, yeah. It's a little bit gonna be rough for the anti-mage, especially because we've had this conversation I don't know how many times about the choice between going for a Battle Fury or going for a Vanguard. Like, he had to go Battle Fury in this game to make sure that he had some semblance of the late game. His start was not as good as it should have been. He should have had a bit better CS going into like the 10 to 15 minute mark, and having a later Battle Fury definitely hurts when you're missing all your towers. Like, DK's towers are MIA, as you would say in game. They don't have any. I mean, they have their base towers, and that's it. So now full map control going to Orange. The one nice thing about Anti-Mage is that he can play pretty aggressive. He needs to be very careful though now because the Queen of Pain has the Orchid up Ultimate Orb on top of that with the double damage, so they spot him out. Like, he is gankable.
Oh yeah.
He's not that like unkillable blinking side lane pushing force that we've seen in a lot of games. He just doesn't have that style of farm right now. He's doing okay. He's not doing great. He needs to be doing amazing for this game to be going a lot longer for DK.
Yeah, they picked him pretty early, too. And that's something, that's maybe going a bit too meta about it. But Anti-Mage, he's just not the hero, as you pointed out, that he used to be. He's not a first-pick, first-ban hero, has not been for quite some time. And they picked him up in the first 3 picks. That gave Orange plenty of time to put together a game plan, knowing that a lot of DK's success was going to hinge a lot on Burning and on Anti-Mage. And it's just showing itself. I mean,
top.
Up on top lane, yeah, we're going to see him drop. TP reaction a little bit late. They are going to catch Darkseer, but Queen of Pain's there. And yeah, just look at the damage output. They're going to be able to get both of them here. Nope, not quite going to get both. Very, very close. But actually, they're just going to dive past the tower because, hey, why not? Double damage rune on Mushi, getting the job done. There's a good vacuum. That's another kill. Lich going to throw the ulti, but that's an ultra kill for Queen of Pain. And
Rampage.
Yep, that's a rampage.
Okay, so we just saw 2v5 from Orange.
Yeah.
Apparently, Queen of Pain and Darkseer are enough to kill not one hero, not two, everybody from DK.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah, double damage rune didn't hurt either. Let's be honest. I mean, they could have killed 4, but to get 5, they had to have the DD.
That was what I call the save your buddy syndrome coming out from DK. It's like, oh god, we gotta save him, TP, and then they come in like, 5 seconds after the next, and you just keep dying, and you keep dying, and then you lose your base, and then Long DD almost dies again. This game very quickly got out of control.
Yeah, it's almost exactly like game 1. There was just a high water mark for DK, and from that point on, everything has gone downhill. 15-6, now the kill score, and finally, DK's team bouncing back from that rampage. Jeez, look at the AoE. They all lined up perfectly for all of that. Burning silence. He's not going to make it back. Oh, well, it is going to wear off just in time, actually. Didn't think he would. He still got Queen of Pain dealing damage over time, but still should be safe. Is going to be able to blink back to safety. But, yeah, I mean, Orange is just kind of hanging out inside of DK's base at this point. This is that kind of game where they're hanging out in front of the racks, and not a whole lot can be done about it. I mean, we'll take a look. 15,000 gold differential, pretty much as expected. 622 XP per minute right now for our Queen of Pain. Gold per minute, 438 and 476, leading the way for Darkseer and Queen of Pain, respectively. 9-0 on Mushi, who has had, I guess you could call that pretty okay, with 130 last hits at 24 minutes.
Decent.
Yeah,
decent.
It's all right. It's okay. But you just feel for DK, you do. They've been slumping. And in both games, you saw what they were up to. You knew what they were wanting to do, and it's not even that they executed that poorly. Orange has just taken control in both games. That's really the way to put it. Orange came in, executed, took control early, and each time, right about this time as well, between 15-20 minutes-ish, a little bit past 20 in this case, everything just peaked, comes together, and they open up a chasm between them and their opponents that's just about insurmountable.
Well, when you have 2 heroes kill your entire team, that's the stage in a game where I would kind of be thinking about your game plan and what your next plan is, as Burning might get picked off your mid. Yeah.
That's a dead Burning. That's another kill for Queen of Pain. Make that 10 zip, 10-0-3, 151 CS. 22 denies. May as well mention that because why not? It's a hell of a game out of Mushi here. Scythe of Ice is complete now.
He's so farmed, man. He is so unbelievably farmed. Given his start, too, he was in a lane that he shouldn't have any business having this many items this early on.
Yep. And just, I mean, look, just blinking in, completely unopposed. Good vacuum, going to pull 2 back. Long DD, caught with a shackle, doesn't latch. Super, going to be picked off on the way back, and so is Long DD. Zippo is about to drop as well. Mushi, and Winter giving chase. Pipe is done. Pipe a little bit of overkill. That's a total wipe. And Windrunner gets a double kill because, hey, why not? Girl power, so on and so forth.
There's a problem when the announcer doesn't even have time to say you know, the Beyond Godlike streak over and over again. He
Yeah.
just gets interrupted because you keep killing them.
Yeah.
I mean, to a point, it's just rude, honestly. Mushi. Like, come on, man. Let the announcer finish saying what he wants to say, then you can kill somebody else.
Exactly. Well, I guess you could say the announcer should just pause and pause in awe, and then follow it up. And looks like he's going to add another long DG. Just wandered out, got hexed, and died immediately. Rod K is going to pick up Mushi. Mushi's going to be able to blink to safety, though. And, yeah. Game more or less over. One set of racks down, soon to be two. There's another good vacuum, and that's where there were two heroes there, Draskell. Where'd they go?
I'm not really sure.
They were right here. I saw them. They're right there, and they're not there anymore. But all right, Orange.
Orange, pretty good team.
Yeah, they're all right.
Good.
They're okay. They're all right. GG's come out. DK came in the underdogs, and they were looking for a breakout win. Instead, Orange shows why chalk is chalk. Takes a very convincing 2-0 victory in less than an hour total game time. It was about 30 minutes long in game one, 27 minutes when the GGs came out this time around. Oh, the final gold graph, 20,000 gold and counting. That's almost 1,000 gold advantage. Say about 750 gold advantage every minute of a gameplay that passed in this game. Experience graph tells the same story, 600 gold per minute for our Queen of Pain. And DK takes their exit, courtesy of the Malaysian Marauders. Orange, as you stated, my friend, pretty damn good team, and they're heading to our Final Four.
I'm really... I knew DK was having a bit of a hard time recently.
Yeah.
But it's still DK, you know? You don't expect them to get ran over like they did these two games. Like, it wasn't... Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but, man, that was ugly.
Got to call it how you see it.
The second game especially. The second game, it's like, okay, you had your AM mid, you wanted to go all in on him, that's fine. We've seen teams do it before, but they had some semblance of a decent start. I mean, they lost their tower at 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. They had a pretty decent reaction from DK, having Burning just go top and free-farming that lane, but just too many heroes died. They lost too much map control too fast. Even with a Tinker, I mean, he was 0-6-1. Some heroes on DK were involved in less than 5 kills. I mean, they only had 6 total compared to the 25 of DK, or of Orange rather. And the game just never really felt like they had a chance of winning. I mean, I'm just going to go as far as to say they just got outpicked. Like,
yeah, they did.
AM can carry, but he can't carry when you lose that much that fast.
Yeah. I can't really add a lot to that. No reason to beat a dead horse, or if it's not dead yet, it's certainly very close to expiring. Orange, a good team. They go 2-0 over DK, and they're headed for our Final Four. I'm EC, that's Draskell. It's been a fun broadcast, my friend. It's been a short broadcast, but we're looking forward to tomorrow's broadcast as well. 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 14:30 Central European Time. Make sure you hit follow. We want to have you back. It's going to be another solid day of Dota. Going to be eHome taking on LGD, another fantastic round of 8 match. Our round of 8 is so good, dude. Like, pretty much any match in our round of 8 could be a final in most other tournaments.
Yeah, especially eHome LGD. Oh, I'm waiting for that one, man.
Yeah.
That's going to be a sick best of 3. I really think that LGD has improved a lot lately. So is eHome, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them looking really, really strong. So I feel like this could be one of the closer matches that we've had throughout the entirety of the tournament.
Either way, this one's in the books. Monthly Madness Asia brought to you by NOS Energy Drink, Own 3D TV, Max Integration, Team Razor, and itsgosu.com. I am AC. You can find me on Twitter at AC. You can see it down the bottom left corner there. And Draskell, where can they find you, buddy?
They can find me on Twitter as well, at Draskell. You can follow me on Neo Dota on the other streaming channel as well as Draskell with 2 L's. That's my private channel. I actually use it sometimes now recently, so I've decided to start plugging it again. Didn't really feel right saying, yeah, just go here because I'm never there. But yeah. You guys can find me there, and I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast.
It's been a lot of fun, and again, we're back tomorrow. It's going to be about a 22-hour break. So consider this a 22-hour break with no commercials because we're that nice. Taking us out, this is Madion with Shuriken. See you tomorrow for eHome taking on LGD Monthly Madness Asia.